qualifying just finished. Ryan got pole position, Leopard second, Drizz's Revenge third, Charlie in fourth, Malta's fifth, HRH sixth, Overrated Llama, who somehow ended up in the 2002 Ferrari, seventh, Hopwood eighth, Smith ninth, Exploding Emerald in 10th, DT Gaming, who's ended up in the 2003 Williams in 11th, Warden 12th, Verstappen 13th, and Jani 14th. So a lot of drivers there had their lap straight up disqualified. The track limits of this track is very, let's say, creative.
Yeah, someone's just proved that by ploughing through the old version of, through the different version of Turn 1. And we've all seen the glitch on time trial, which, let's... I'm not that sad. It's a good track overall. I quite like enjoying it.
I think overall the attitude on it is very good. It's a very fun lap to drive around. It's got a massive frame drop. I'm not sure what's causing that. Or people blowing through the straight. Okay.
Yeah, because it loses tracks of where people are.
Yeah. Okay. There you go.
But yeah, 04 Ferrari. As it flies around the circuit. That you're allowed to pick one car.
Oh well, we get a good look at the 2003 Williams, courtesy of DT Gaming YC. And I guess the comparison between 2002 and 2004.
Obviously, because I was watching the entire British Grand Prix, and he absolutely dominated that. But then again, he was the only.
Yeah.
A lot easier to drive.
The reason we picked, the reason I picked the 2004 Ferraris for this circuit is just because of the monumental back straight, as people demonstrated during the formation lap. And these 2004 Ferraris are well known for their track records and their incredible speed. But here we go.
Yeah, we're going up towards the 5 red lights are on. Here. Good. Pretty average though in my opinion, but Drizz's Revenge is going side by side with Charles, going to know what time on. So Ryan who still leads, Leopard is third, Drizz's Revenge in third. Just out, and now in fact as well, Tiamo will now come back around the outside the Fried lad doing everything he can in towards turn. What's a fourth, top 5.
There's been a massive surge of chaos going through some of the technical sections, especially through the first series of corners. And unfortunately, poor DT Gaming is going to be absolutely going to be a bit of a sitting duck going down the straight. And just trying to scare Jack Hopwood off, but unfortunately a little bit of contact up and down the field. But Exploding Emerald's doing well to try and keep his car in a straight line. Somebody just completely obliterated the main straight. I believe that was Jani. With Exploding Emerald all over the back of T.R. Smith. Are they going to go side by side through seam corners? Surely not! But Exploding Emerald tries to keep it around the outside. Unfortunately goes very wide, which allows Smith to go back on the inside. Go around the long right-hander. I'm not quite sure what some of these corners are called. But Exploding Emerald and Smith once again remaining side by side. They've got HRH doing him a great show at the battling right now. Still side by side. Section 3. A lot of people estimate that this will be the site of many a great battle throughout all the league racing. And we're seeing it right here with Smith and Emerald. It's further down the field. Ryan and Leopard. Leopard's all over the back of Ryan as they come down the main straight. Usually you'd have the DRS flying open here, but that's not going to happen here. As Warden's looking at the LCR champion. He's going to try and go around the outside as Leopard. As he does that, breaks just about enough later than Ryan, as Warden is trying to find space as well, try and wedge himself in as Ryan picks up the penalty.
Indeed, very early on, but then again, we'll go side by side now towards turn 6. Brilliant bit of racing, but then it looks as if Leopard is going to come out on top. And now Ward. Third. Drizz's Revenge just behind him fourth. Bit of a star-spangled banner. I mean, on side by side. Warden, and I just about think Warden is going to. between Exploding Emerald and T.Y. Smith. Here they come again as they all fly. Red racing about just going about your moments and pick. Line of Warden can't quite do it again and slots it.
Ryan goes wide.
And Brad tries to get his bars and he can't quite do it for now. And still the American of LCR. TOR Pacific champion. Apex, brilliant top four valve.
Oh, it's stunning, and it's something I'm very well known for badgering on about, but LCR, the whole gimmick of the fact is that the top division is the world championship, and we don't say that for no reason. LCR, Leopard, the current world champion, the German, is contending with a New Zealander, an Australian, an American is behind it, with the Asian, Indonesian of Exploding Emerald behind him. This is the most international grid you're going to see for pretty much miles. But Leopard and Warden with an intense fight for the lead, with Ryan, he's struggling to keep the car. He was doing very well in Australia, with Warden struggling with the car, but Ryan seems to be struggling with the car a lot more this time around, with Drizzt's Revenge slowly just trying to keep the distance behind him. I'm not sure who's got what setups, but I know right now that Warden's got the advantage, and a lot of penalties coming through as well.
Humongous scrap, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, all of it a second. There's still on the top, there's a bit of contact there from HRH. If they came out towards the Verstappen, it's just going to get the move done. And then as well, we are Charlie. This scrap further down, it's just something on the side of the top. But where's the 25%? These guys are going to act as if this is touring cars, where they're just going to be able to win it by turn 1. Because it's half of what they...
Yeah. And the big unknown here is, I may or may not have elaborated on stream last race, but we don't know what tyre wear is. Like Classics, it seems like a bit of a missed bag. Either the tyres are going to make it all the way, or they're going to be hanging on by threads by the end. So we're not sure, especially in this track on these cars, we're not sure if these drivers are going to have to pit. In fact, in the last race, only two drivers didn't pit, and they finished first and second. Leopard isn't holding back on his tyres at all. He gets the fastest lap very handily, and he's trying to get position on Warden, but I believe the dirty air is compromising his line both through turn 1 and turn 2, and it's going to compromise him completely as Ryan is going to try and look down his inside. Leopard goes defensive. Ryan's trying to go around the outside of turn 3, maybe trying to switch back into turn 4. Isn't quite able to do it. The hairpin of turn 5, he gets a much better run, a little bit closer to the apex compared to the German driver through the long right-hander of turn 6. Leopard goes a little bit wide, flick it left through turn 7 as they come charging down the straight. Ryan has to take a little bit off the track, but he's going to get the slipstream. Leopard once again goes defensive. Is he going to try and get the move done into the chicane? He's going to take some mighty leg braking for him to get it done. Leopard down the inside keeps the position for the time being, but Ryan's not going to let him have it for very long.
Indeed, a brilliant bit of offense and defense going here, and again Ryan's going to try and come back and down towards the flat out right hand. They have Ryan's now on the outside, surely, as he tries to break now, trying to be the switchback that is very much. Gordon runs right ahead, and I think just about Leopard it's going to hold on, but really the New Zealander is just. The same. Meanwhile, as well, a bit further down, there's absolute scrap going on in between TR Malta and TR Smith. And actual fact, I've just made contact. Right, just a little bit there, but now Jackpot. Memory serves me well. Isn't that one on the back of him as well?
Llama's out. Unfortunately, with this game, you can't look at retired drivers, so we can't actually see why or how. But unfortunately, he's out of the race. After being held in the pit lane all the time in Australia, that's probably not what he wanted, but unfortunately that's his day. This is our second of 2 races right now, so we're not holding anything after this, so fortunately that's it for Llama, but we still got an lead, and Malta's already all over the back of Smith. Don't forget about these two as they head onto the DR, well, they're just coming through turn 6, about to flick through turn 7. Smith gets too much power in his car, goes a bit wide, whereas Malta keeps it very much closer to the apex, and he's now going to get the slipstream. Smith is trying to fade over to the left-hand side of the circuit. Is that going to try and allow Malta to try and get some bit of slipstream left? Smith's trying to keep it on the middle, and Malta breaks so much later, but it's cost him so much. Smith gets a penalty for his efforts of cutting the corner, and Malta, fair play to him. He broke a lot later, dove around the outside, but he got the move done.
penalties then, because it flashed twice. Now Smith's on the inside, he's going to take... Again, I'm just about to think Malta's going to hold him. A man possessed to the... At the moment, as he tries to get P6.
He got 2 penalties for his troubles there, so unfortunately Smith is currently hampered by 6 seconds of penalties. Malta only has 3. I've not looked through everybody just yet, but I should imagine that Leopard's hoping that Warden has some penalties as Ryan picks one up as well, as Leopard is still within a second of Warden. There's nothing on the line here. There's no points. There's no. It's just bright. So I'm sure Leopard would rather beat Warden on the circuit rather than get it through a penalty. And it looks like he's sizing up the move right now as they go through turn 6.
Yeah, no manner of chance.
There's Hobwood's all over the back of Smith as well.
This is just proof that when we get to the sort of calendar year in league racing, we are. Let me finish my sentence and just absolutely it, and it's already arrived in Australia by tomorrow because.
Meanwhile,
Smith. Second. Right.
Just to keep on the hot topic, Jack Hopper was right behind Smith and was trying to get past him, but Smith was creating a bit of a wall, but unfortunately there was a bit of contact between them as they went down the straight, which sent Smith flying into the wall, which I think completely dismantled his front wing, so he completely split the chicane there due to the fact that he has a lack of front wing, so I think he's going to be pitting his lap. Unfortunately for him.
No, he's not.
But, no, he's not. He's decided he's going to
go take a visit to the barriers.
That's fair enough. Look at that.
All that meanwhile as well, what the hell's going on further down?
I think Warden and Ryan may have had a bit of contact there. They seem to be letting their head on.
Warden's been disqualified.
I'm not sure what happened there. Malta. Warden's been disqualified.
Been disqualified. Multiple penalties.
God, looking through the race director, we're not even like, what lap are we on?
7.
We're on lap 7, and you gotta buy life insurance if you want to scroll through the race director list. Yeah, Warden got 2 10-second time penalties in the course of the last lap, which ended up getting him disqualified. But I think that moment of confusion with disqualification, Ryan decided to drop back as well, and that's essentially it landed Leopard the victory, and also landed British Revenge, who last race managed to climb positions by just keeping his nose out of trouble, does so once again up to second. But you should imagine that the TOR Pacific champion, Ryan, is going to have to try and catch the TOR Americas champion. And in fact, up until Warden retired, the top 4 drivers were all representing TOR in like the absolute perfect way you possibly could. Both the TOR European champions in the form of TOR Leopard, the only TOR Americas champion, and both the TOR Pacific champions. The only one you were missing was a Europe 2 champion in RL Schumacher, but very well represented there, TOR, in the top end of this race. As the Leopard
they're like a disease.
I like that. I shan't repeat it for fear of being yelled at, but I like it.
I have to say this. TOR, Verstappen, nearly. Which, by the way, if you didn't know, TOR played against LCR in the Race of Champions. That's the second time we've done it, and it hasn't gone quite well for us, has it?
No, once again, the rain and the intermediate conditions, they were kind of played a foul with our lads. But yeah, scripted, whatever, we let them win. Of course, while we're on top of that
bloody TOR.
While we're on that topic, Team LCR currently winning this race. Back to Brighton here.
Yeah, just saying.
Just saying.
Just had to throw that one in there, didn't you?
Looking through the roster, is the only Team LCR representing here, so fair enough. I guess, I mean, I'm representing as well, but I'm not biased at all, even in the slightest.
Yeah, I'll keep that one. Because yeah, lap 8 and 13. This really feels like the lap 20. Obviously, it's 35 laps on there. And you just sort of get to that stage where you just start watching
Yeah.
the first half of the race. Anything you ever want.
Yeah. It's there's always a bit of a wait for the strategy to play out. And speaking of watching the gaps, just kind of running on board with Verstappen while we wait for some action to spruce up. I believe Verstappen's trying the best he can. He's just hanging around the second mark from Jack Hopwood. He's not really growing or shrinking. Verstappen last season in LCR, just to give a bit of a recap, I don't believe he won any races, but he got several podiums and he helped John Solonico, who may or may not still be in the Twitch chat, he helped him send a last gasp campaign for Mercedes for the team championship. Unfortunately came up short to both myself and Leopard, which isn't the reason why I brought this up, but I've got to say. But he's going to be wanting to prove his worth next season, no doubt. Sign up for LCR Season 5. Of course, with several other than the drivers here. Bottas picks up a penalty through the chicane. Yep.
This was fun. Yeah, what I was going to say anyway. In other news. I hate that. I'm really not having a good day today on commentary. I've broke my mic. I've done all of this.
Sunk Manx 477904776 is having a bad day.
He's the saviour of the day.
A legend of our time. Timo Verstappen, just going back a little bit, maybe help jog your memory. He's within a second of Jack Hopwood. As mentioned previously, he would currently have DRS going down into turn 1, but as back in the good old days of true men and true racing, 2004 Ferraris, you wouldn't have had DRS, so that compatibility isn't there for Verstappen, who unfortunately picks up a penalty. Dare I go into the race director and see what penalties people have? Jack Hopwood has 2 warnings but no penalties, and Verstappen has 2 penalties, multiple warnings. So this is just mostly pride as he cuts across the hairpin of turn 5.
Well, I mean, it was a bit of an upset on the card for Jack. A very decent fighter. Didn't really have the race pace like towards the end of the season, but when he was on his game, I saw him particularly. One race that always comes to my head. I saw what was happening.
Yeah.
When it was ESR Maze, Verstappen, and just for the record. But yeah, you had them through fat on the way. It was just he had no limits. It was one way that was going to end up, and he was getting past. It's as simple as that. But what I was going to say.
Hey.
But I just remember that off the top of my head. So, you know how I'm going to call them out on stream?
Oh. Yeah.
This is Bill. He signed up for AOR 16.
Yeah.
Don't do that for LCR.
Okay, duly noted. What? Why not? I know exactly what you're on about there, like the stick figure wearing the bobble hat.
AOR 16.
Stop! People are gonna clip this, they're gonna like post it on AOR and they're gonna message me all angry. I love AOR.
I already hate
me. Stop!
I'm fine.
Oh dear. Oh no. You won't be seeing AOR Sunk Manx anytime soon. I think we can be sure of that.
See, what you don't realise is...
Ooh.
Anyway, back on track, put on the lap.
Anyway, we've got a bit of action spruced up here. We've only got 2 laps left, but several drivers within a second. Ryan is within a second of Drizz's Revenge. Malta is within a second of Exploding Emerald, and Tio Verstappen is within a second of Jack Hopwood. So we had that brief period of a bit of a lull, but now we got into the final 2 laps of the race, and now the real racing begins. It doesn't matter what the result says, doesn't matter where the penalties are. All that matters is we've got some Ferraris who are ready to do battle in track.
Indeed, they're ready to light up. Ryan, I think you've only got one thing on mind, and that's get past. Still not quite able to get it done, but you can clearly see Ryan is so much more comfortable in this car. It just seems. He's still got a car ahead of him, because the yellow flag waved and sectors into the technical sections, but now into the final section. Who'd have thought anyone would have said that in any sport, but it's happening. I think, judging by it, what? Lunge? No, he's dropped it.
Ryan seems to have a bit of trouble through that final corner. One more lap to go. Tio Verstappen, he was all over the back of Jack Hopwood going into the chicane down the Mistral Straight. I keep wanting to call it the Minstrel Straight. Maybe it's just me wanting some chocolate, but the Mistral Straight, however you want to pronounce it with any accent. They were also catching up to Hopwood and Malta, it should be to Malta and Emerald, it should be mentioned. Emerald doing a great job of keeping Malta behind him. Is he going to try and move into turn 1 at all? It's not really exactly an overtaking spot. A lot of people don't really seem to think, although Emerald went super deep. Is it going to allow Malta to do a switchback? I don't think it did. There might have been a bit of lag contact there. Tio Verstappen had to run over the curve of turn 2, which unfortunately lost him time to Jack Hopwood in the head, so we could be having a 4-way battle, as British Revenge is over a second down the road of Ryan. So that's pretty much sorted in and of itself. But these 4 drivers, Emerald keeping at bay Malta, Jack Hopwood just a little bit behind keeping at bay Tio Verstappen. Can this order stay the same? Can this reshuffle a little bit before penalties take place?
We've got a couple of corners left of racing done from this. Jack Hopwood doing his best to try and keep to his definite contact as LCR Leopard was just 1.
We're used to it, don't worry about it.
Yeah, it's pretty. It's like watching F1 back in like 2011. To a certain LCR Leopard, but Brad takes a brilliant P2, so you got to say fair play to that man. P2 and P3. Bad job as I think actually. Oh no, it was lag. We've both all that Verstappen. Yeah. So.
Penalties.
Takes P8. And
when we get back to the results screen, can you do me a favour and can you go onto the race director and can you just scroll through all the incidents? I want you to experience, and I want it to be on stream. I want you to see how long it is from a 25% race.
In a moment, but I've just seen, if you look back on the stream, like the size of like the scrolling down icon.
Bearing in mind, it's a 25% race. There he is, LCR Leopard. There's JD. Shout out.
I think we should
LCR Leopard. Hot step for the podium. Oh god. There we go. Proud day in the history of T. I mean, LCR. First LCR event F1 2018 under wraps. Of course, we are just. Oh, my math is failing me. We are currently 3 weeks away from the first round of LCR Season 5. Where it will be, we don't know just yet, but Leopard, I don't think will be there because he's signed up as a reserve, so we'll be seeing who's on the top step for that race. But in respect right now, it's Leopard, British Revenge is second, Ryan in third, Jack Hopwood fourth, Malta's fifth, 6th is Verstappen, 7th is Emerald, 8th is HRH, and 9th in Charlie, and then everybody else, unfortunately, retired from the race. No pit stops from anybody either.
Yeah, everyone deciding the no stop was the reverse strategy, but there's your screen of penalty. So, well done to Jack Hopwood, the only guy who finished the race and didn't have a single penalty. So,
brownie points.
what are you doing?
Shout out to Brad, who had to drive that race without engine noise, but still managed to pull it home second.
Yeah.
Yeah, essentially.
A league's never hosted the championship on that. I'll wait.
It's not like the person who won said championship said he was going to race today, but he didn't race today, did you, Matt? I'm calling you out! I'm kidding.
It's not that we are firing some shots. You're firing at one of the biggest.
You can say it.
Welcome to LCR Season 5, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, everybody's picking the 70s cars at Monaco. Let's do that. Nobody's going to do that. Nobody's going to want to do that.
Yeah,
that would just be a disaster.
Idea.
Maybe next time.
Please, Wobby.
Do not blame you. Well, thank you very much, Sunk Manx, for your first commentary. I'm kidding. Thank you very much for Nuthead, for joining us. Got there in the end. I'm not sure. I'm not sure if the first race will see much light of day on YouTube, but the second race was very, very entertaining. I should mention that whoever set it to Monaco also set it to heavy rain, and everybody's left bar me, so I'm now alone. But in any regards, that does us for today. 3 weeks until LCR Season 5 starts, so if you haven't signed up already, it'd be a great idea to start doing that. But yeah, I believe that's just us for today. Then.
It is. Weeks for the start of the season. I can't wait when hopefully I'll have an operational mic and Skunks Manx.
That's
so
fine.
Thank you guys very much.
Forget.
Usual. And we'll see you next time.